Hello, this is Whimsical Dragon here to demo my hackathon code. So if you're like most Python programmers, it can be really frustrating to try to understand the code. And this is because whatever fool made Python decided that the code shouldn't be alphabetized by the first letter. However, fortunately, I have created a Fortran program that solves this problem. So my code has three main steps. First, it takes in input, and this is relatively simple, but I do have to do a lot of prep work uh, for when I want to actually output the sorted code. And you can see some of that prep work that I have to do right here on this pretty trivial line here. Um, so then after that, pretty much ready to sort. So here's my sorting algorithm right here. And I've implemented a probability-based sorting algorithm. And essentially the way that it works is that it gets what percentage of elements are after whatever element we're looking at in the array should go before that element. So to say that again, uh, whatever element you're looking at, it gets what percentage of elements after that should go before or after it. And then it adjusts that original element's index by that percentage. And it's doing that down here. And additionally, I've set it up so that it will actually check to see if any elements have been placed in the right position overall. And once they are placed in the right position, it locks them in so that they don't move anymore. Finally, since this algorithm tends to move elements too far, sometimes it'll end up oscillating. So if I fail to make significant progress, I have it do one round of selection sort so that it won't infinitely loop. I have no clue what the big O notation of this program is, but it's definitely terrible. So after sorting this, all I have to do is then just print out the actual code, which I'm doing down here. And then a couple other things here to note. I do have this bubble sort implemented in here, and this is just to show that the code actually does sort properly. And then here are a couple of functions down here that I'm using. Some of them I wrote, some of these I definitely wrote. So yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and see this in action. I'll go ahead and use this example program here. All this is just a simple hello world program. So it'll print hello world and then print example, and then it shouldn't print, this message should not be displayed because 1 is equal to 1. So just to show you that that actually works real quick, I'll go ahead and run it. And we get the expected output right there. So now let's go ahead and use my Fortran program to actually sort this and make it a little bit easier to read here. So if I do this and then example.py, so here you'll see the actual output here on the command line. So if I scroll all the way back up here, quite far, it does take a whole lot of passes. Wherever I started it at. Anyway, you get the idea here. Every time it says prob sort, that's one pass. So here's a pass, and then here's a pass. And you'll notice that we're really failing to improve the actual sortedness of this array every single time. So eventually, yeah, we get stuck, and then we'll do one pass of selection sort. And for example, on this this program, it took 36 iterations of this algorithm for it to actually sort everything. And then if we take a look at our output here, you'll see it sorted things alphabetically and then by indentation. Um, and by alphabetically, I just mean alphabetically by the first letter. I didn't really bother to do anything past the second letter because I didn't really care, and I don't really feel like that added to any of the readability of the code. So I just left that alone. So yeah, here's our output file here. And you may be wondering, well, does this actually work? And the answer is yes, it does. And I'll show you that right here. And you'll see that it works exactly how our example.py file works. Just like that. But you know what, this file is still kind of confusing looking to me, so maybe I better sort the actual test.py file, you know, just do that again. And then we get this new file here, and this looks pretty good. You know, you got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You know, that makes a lot of sense, right? And you may be wondering, well, does this actually work? And yes, it does. And you'll see that still the same output. Do note that it did take 51 iterations this time. It's because every time we do this, we'll actually end up with another line because we have to write this execute statement. And you'll see that it works just like that. But there's a little bit of a limitation here, and that's because I didn't really bother to allow you to sort this any further than this, and that's because I really felt like it didn't really add to any of the readability. I feel like after two sorts like this, the Python file should make plenty of sense. It should be completely obvious what's happening. So I didn't really bother to implement any way to do any of that further sorting, just because that would have to mean messing around with a lot of these escape characters, which just is really annoying. Anyway, that's all for my submission. Thank you for your time and your consideration.